They mocked the warning, but heaven never laughs last. Have you ever been called crazy for seeing what others couldn't? Have you ever tried to warn people about the storm ahead, only to be ridiculed, ignored, or labeled too spiritual? Have you noticed that the same voices that once laughed at you have now gone silent, or worse, are crying for help from the very darkness they unleashed? Chosen one, this is divine justice unfolding right before your eyes. God saw every tear they made you shed, every lie they spread, every attack they thought would break you. And while they were busy mocking, He was busy building. He turned their laughter into lessons, their curses into your confirmation. The same people who called you crazy are now praying for mercy because they finally see that you weren't delusional, you were divinely informed. You tried to warn them. You carried compassion, not vengeance. You gave grace when heaven demanded distance. But they mistook your silence for weakness. What they didn't know was that your stillness was God's setup, His way of letting their own choices deliver the judgment they invited. Now, the tower has fallen, and heaven has made one thing clear: those who touched you touched the wrong one. If this truth is hitting your spirit right now, comment 777 as your agreement with heaven's justice. And to every heart who has supported this divine movement through super thanks, my deepest gratitude. You're not just supporting content, you're helping carry light into the darkest corners of this world. Stay close, because what comes next will reveal exactly how those who mocked you are now crying for deliverance, and why God is using this moment to prove that He was with you all along. God's chosen ones. They called you crazy, now they're crying for deliverance. Tonight, revelation itself walks through the corridors of your memory. The veil lifts. The unseen becomes visible. While you were quietly tending to the architecture of your destiny, laying each foundation stone with faith and sweat, there were those lurking behind curtains of jealousy, rehearsing the language of your destruction. What they thought was hidden in silence now screams through divine exposure. This is not coincidence. This is not karma. This is the court of heaven in session. And the judge has spoken. Vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord. Romans 12:19. As you slept beneath the blanket of divine peace, others remained awake, conspiring beneath the cold fluorescence of envy. They did not merely think ill of you, they engineered a current of malice, synchronized like a dark frequency in the atmosphere. 3 voices, just 3 chanting rebellion against divine order. The Spirit calls that a coven. Their words became weapons, their jealousy a ritual. But energy obeys its origin. He who digs a pit will fall into it. Ecclesiastes 10:8. Their hearts burned not with inspiration but infection. Your progress nauseated them. Your joy was an unbearable melody. You radiated light too pure, too constant, like a lighthouse breaking through their fog of self-hatred. Instead of tending their own shadows, they tried to snuff out your flame. But light cannot be domesticated. The darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. Have you ever wondered why their plots failed despite their numbers? Why their voices sound so loud but their hands achieve nothing? Because you, chosen one, are guarded by frequencies they cannot detect. You vibrate in alignment with heaven's code. Your life is not random, it is architecture. Each trial, a beam in the cathedral of your purpose. Each heartbreak, a sacred resonance echoing through eternity. Those who struck at you did not realize they were throwing stones at the foundation of divine design. They were warned, yes, warned by someone with sight beyond the veil. Someone who whispered, "Stop now," before your curse circles back as your own sentence. Yet pride, the oldest drug, seduced them. Jealousy clouded their logic. Desperation mutated them into gamblers who bet against God's blueprint. And like Lucifer, who believed his reflection could outshine the sun, they plummeted into the orbit of their own chaos. The spiritual law is precise. What is released must return. For with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. Luke 6:38. Their rituals backfired. Their whispers amplified against them. Their power dismantled by divine geometry, because when the architect of heaven draws a line, no mortal hand can erase it. Think of Pharaoh's army swallowed by the Red Sea, Exodus 14:27. They thought control was power. Instead, control drowned them. So too, the modern covens, be they colleagues, relatives, or friends turned foes, find their own voices echoing curses they cannot retract. And deep within your soul, another question rises. Quiet, yet cutting. Why did God let me witness their rise before their fall? Why was I tested so hard by betrayal I didn't deserve? Why did pain become my teacher before peace became my crown? Because heaven forges its soldiers in paradox. The anointed are trained through tension. The bow must bend before it releases the arrow. In the frescoes of Fra Angelico, that devout painter of divine mysteries, angels are always painted mid-motion, half in light, half emerging from it, because glory is not stillness. It is transformation. You, too, are mid-motion between what was attacked and what will ascend. As Beethoven once wrote in the margin of his 9th Symphony, "From the heart may it return to the heart." Your suffering was not punishment. It was frequency correction, heaven tuning your heart until it matched divine resonance. A modern echo of this truth lives in a man named Raphael, a humble street cleaner from Seville. When mocked for humming hymns during his night shifts, he simply said, "If God listens while I clean his streets, that's enough honor for me." Years later, the same people who laughed now ask him to pray for their children. That's vindication without vengeance. And as for the deceivers, they learn the oldest lesson in cosmic law. You cannot curse what God has blessed. Numbers 23:20. But hear this, your story doesn't end in revenge. It culminates in rebirth. You are the phoenix rising from ashes of accusation. You are the diamond shaped under tectonic grace. The universe bends its light toward you now. This is the lesson the author within me has carved from your story. What tried to break you actually broadcast your anointing. Pain is not proof of abandonment. It is proof of assignment. So tell your story. Share your scars. Someone else's deliverance depends on your transparency. And now, chosen one, stand. Rise like dawn after endless night. Step forward, not with vengeance, but with victory in your veins. The war is over. The crown fits. Walk in it. The energy they hurled at you did not vanish into thin air. It has returned like a comet ignited by divine velocity, blazing back toward its source with precision only heaven could calculate. Those who once whispered curses now choke on the echo of their own words. Their hearts pound under invisible weight. Their breath catches in the midnight hour when silence grows too loud. At 3 a.m., their souls stir in terror. haunted by the knowledge they crossed a line that heaven never permits to be redrawn. This is not a coincidence. This is divine law in motion. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that shall he also reap. Galatians 6-7. The same spiritual energy they weaponized against you has turned sentient, an executioner cloaked in justice. They interfered with sacred frequency, and now that frequency is roaring back, amplifying through the chambers of their own misdeeds. Every curse reversed, every whispered spell inverted, every dark vision projected toward your downfall has become a cinematic replay of their own collapse. For the universe does not permit manipulation of its holy circuitry without consequence. Touch not my anointed ones, and do my prophets no harm. Psalm 105-15. Now there is trembling in their camp. Someone among them feels the cost in their bones. One faces an illness that defies diagnosis. Another watches wealth crumble like sand through trembling hands. Another weeps as relationships disintegrate. The same unity they sought to destroy in you now dissolves in their midst. One has already encountered the ultimate silence, the kind that does not breathe back. It's the tower falling, the death card rising, symbols of upheaval and irreversible ending. In the unseen courts of spirit, both cards appearing together declare the structure has fallen, and the life force has been recalled. They gambled with powers that require consecration, not curiosity, and now the stakes have consumed them. Pride always believes it can defy gravity, until the fall proves otherwise. Have you ever wondered why their collapse feels so poetic? Why does justice unfold with such eerie symmetry? Because cosmic energy operates like the ocean. It always returns what it receives. Cast your bread upon the waters, and after many days it will return to you. Ecclesiastes 11:1. The universe may not play favorites, but it guards its chosen as fiercely as a lioness guards her cubs. You were never a random target. You were an assignment of heaven. Your mission is too sacred to be aborted by envy. When they attacked you, they didn't just strike a person. They assaulted divine infrastructure. They tried to vandalize blueprints written by the architect of eternity. But let's expose the root of their fury. It wasn't mindless hatred. It was strategic jealousy. They saw your reflection shimmering in the realm of prophecy and mistook it for their own. They glimpsed your divine union, your future alliance, two souls anointed to build, not merely to love. This partnership carries the seed of legacy, the resonance of restoration. It is a covenant designed to birth abundance that will ripple across generations. And because they saw what belonged to you, they attempted to rewrite fate's script. But destiny doesn't yield to envy, it yields to obedience. What God has joined together, let no one separate. Mark 10:9. I recall the words of Pope John Paul II, who once said, "The future starts today, not tomorrow." They tried to halt your tomorrow, but they only accelerated your dawn. Nature itself mirrors this truth. When lightning strikes the tallest tree in the forest, it seems to destroy it, but in time, the charred bark protects the inner core, forcing new growth. You, chosen one, are that tree. You've been struck not for punishment, but purification. Yet every narrative has its Judas. In medieval chronicles, there was a nobleman named Armand de Valcourt, a man who betrayed his own kingdom to foreign powers for gold. His reward turned to ash when plague struck his household within days, leaving his name cursed in stone. He became a living parable of divine reciprocity, What you sell for silver will be paid back in suffering. And still, beneath all this cosmic justice, a gentle truth whispers through the storm. Not all pain is punishment. Sometimes it is promotion disguised. Your endurance is evidence of divine engineering. You were not built for collapse, but for calibration. As the psalmist declared, "Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all." Psalm 34-19. From the author's heart, here is what I've learned. Divine protection doesn't prevent storms. It proves your ship is worthy of sailing through them. You survived not because you were untouched, but because your roots were anchored deeper than their reach. If this resonates within you, share your own story of deliverance. Someone else wandering in shadow needs to see your survival as their prophecy. So rise, rise with the poise of dawn after tempest. Your enemy's chaos has become your confirmation. Their curses were clay, your purpose is stone. The boomerang has returned. The trial has spoken, and heaven has declared, the chosen stand unshaken. It was never just a relationship. It was an equation written in heaven's architecture, a spiritual merger of two divine frequencies designed to rewire the consciousness of those who encounter it. When two souls, chosen and refined by fire, unite under divine timing, the vibration around them changes everything it touches. This isn't romance, it's resurrection. It's Genesis rewritten through grace. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. Ecclesiastes 4-9. Your adversaries sensed this before you fully did. They could feel your ascension approaching. Like predators sensing pressure before a storm, they didn't celebrate your rise, they tried to fracture it. They built illusions like architects of confusion, crafting emotional mazes to make you doubt the offer heaven placed before you. They whispered thoughts to distort your discernment, false echoes meant to cloud your intuition. Their intent was surgical. Precise. They wanted you to mistake destiny for deception, purpose for peril. But your spirit had already been tempered in the furnaces of trial. You carry discernment, born from warfare. You know the difference between divine delay and demonic distraction. How many times did they think you would fold? How many times did they bet that confusion would consume you? Yet each time, the veil lifted. Because when God forges his soldiers, he also fortifies their perception. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. They underestimated the strength of your frequency. They didn't know that your spirit operates like a quantum resonance, able to detect interference long before it manifests. They couldn't grasp that discernment. In divine physics, functions like radar, it detects distortion before impact. While they conjured their little spells, your angels recalibrated the field. The universe rerouted the current of every curse before it reached your atmosphere. And yet, they did not stop there. They aimed directly at the arteries of your life, your finances, your creativity, your peace, like thieves studying blueprints. They targeted your abundance with algorithmic cruelty. They plotted financial confusion. Knowing that scarcity suffocates potential, they delayed opportunities, disrupted transactions, and clouded the memory of those who owed you. This was no coincidence, it was a coordinated, energetic siege. But what they did not understand is that your economy is not earthly, it is celestial. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. No ritual can block the supply chain of heaven. Your provision doesn't flow through banks or bosses, it flows through covenant. They attacked your creativity too. hoping to silence the symphony inside you. They wanted your mind blank, your pen dry, your spirit uninspired, because your words are frequencies. Your art is a transmission from the divine realm. The things you create don't just exist, they heal, awaken, recalibrate. They feared your voice because your voice carries voltage. A story comes to mind. Aidan Brooks, a young mechanic from Detroit. He once told me that every time he repaired an engine, he whispered a prayer. Let this machine work as my life works, built again after breakdown. He lost everything during a rough season, yet every time he prayed over broken metal, his own soul realigned. He found purpose in fixing what refused to run. Isn't that what you've done too? Taking what was sabotaged and turning it into sacred machinery. This is divine engineering. And in divine architecture, pressure doesn't destroy, it polishes. Like cathedral ceilings built to amplify sound. Your trials have shaped resonance within you. Your pain was an acoustic chamber. Now everything you speak carries echo. Their attacks have failed because they underestimated your foundation. You are a structure designed with celestial geometry, measured by mercy, built upon a covenant. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118-22. They tried to collapse what heaven had already certified. They tried to halt the merger that would heal the world. But your destiny was written in the gravitational script of the universe, unalterable. Precis. And every vibration they released now returns. Diffused. Disarmed. Dissolved. As a writer and witness to stories like yours, I've learned this truth. Attacks reveal architecture. When opposition rises, it's because construction is underway. And when the divine blueprint expands, resistance only exposes the magnitude of the mission. If these words stir something in you, share your story. Tell the world what tried to silence you and how the silence became your sanctuary. Someone out there needs proof that the spiritual war they face is not a punishment but preparation. So rise again. Not cautiously, but completely. The confusion has cleared. The covenant stands. The merger is happening. And heaven is applauding. They wanted to silence that voice, the voice that carried galaxies within syllables, that spoke life into dead rooms, that terrified the mediocre because it reminded them of everything they buried in themselves. They wanted to dim that light, the one that refused to flicker even when storms raged. They wanted to convince you that your fire was foolish, your vision too loud, your destiny too divine. Why not live small, they whispered. Why not be safe? But something ancient inside you refused. A sacred pulse pushed through the interference like a heartbeat under rubble. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. Every time you almost surrendered, heaven breathed again through you. That wasn't resilience, it was resurrection. They didn't just attack your dreams, they waged war on your vitality. They wanted the temple of your body to collapse under the weight of invisible arrows. Do you remember the fatigue that came from nowhere, the exhaustion that lingered like smoke, the nights when sleep felt foreign, and your heart raced for reasons you couldn't name? That wasn't weakness, it was your body processing the invisible warfare surrounding your field. You weren't losing energy, you were transmuting it. Like Job, under the testing of unseen forces. You were being measured, but not destroyed. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. Job 13:15. They wanted your dreams buried beneath headaches, your purpose drowned in sleeplessness. But each time you rose from your bed, your angels took note. Heaven was watching the endurance of its chosen, and still they did not stop. When your strength didn't break, they went for your emotions. They whispered into the corridors of your mind, trying to make you unworthy of love, undeserving of destiny. They wanted you to believe that no divine union would want someone like you, that you were too wounded, too imperfect, too not enough. They dug through your past like scavengers, resurrecting every failure to feed their narrative. Have you ever felt that sudden doubt? That whisper of unworthiness that didn't sound like your voice? That was them planting seeds in the soil of your heart. But your spirit recognized the frequency wasn't familiar. Because heaven has trained your discernment, your mind is no longer a playground for imposters. There's a story I once heard from an Italian painter named Lucia Ferrano, a woman who lost her sight in one eye, yet continued painting visions of angels. When asked how she managed, she smiled and said, "I only need one eye to see heaven." That's faith in its rawest form, the refusal to stop creating even when vision blurs. And that's you. In the symphony of Bach's Mass, in B minor, there's a quiet movement where violins tremble like wings under pressure before soaring into light. That moment mirrors your story. Your trembling was not the end, it was the prelude to your ascent. Your physical exhaustion wasn't depression, it was divine alchemy. Your emotional heaviness wasn't hopelessness, it was recalibration. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Isaiah 40-31. The darkness pressed. Yes, but it only proved that your light was worth the battle. Psychologists might call this spiritual somatization, when emotional energy translates into physical sensation. Physicists might say your body entered a low-frequency field. Theologians would call it warfare. I call it calibration, your cells learning to hold heaven's voltage. Remember, Pharaoh, the oppressor who thought his control was permanent. His heart hardened against Moses until the waters themselves rose as witnesses. His empire drowned in the very sea he used to threaten others. That is divine symmetry. The same energy sent to suppress you now serves as your evidence. And here's the truth few understand. What they called weakness was actually data proof that your system was expanding. You were not collapsing, you were evolving. Like a star entering supernova. Your energy field was preparing for rebirth. For when I am weak, then I am strong. 2 Corinthians 12:10. From my own study and living experience, I've learned this. When life shakes, it's not always punishment. It's proof that new architecture is being laid in your soul. Emotional turbulence is not chaos, it's construction. And once the scaffolding falls away, all that remains is strength shaped by suffering. So, to those still in the storm, share your story. Tell the world how you survived what was meant to silence you. Someone out there is fighting unseen battles and needs your proof that light doesn't break, it bends into brilliance. Rise again. Chosen one. The mud you trudged through was holy ground. Your fatigue was the labor of birth. Your body was never failing, it was fighting for the life of your purpose. You are the evidence that darkness cannot cancel destiny. That whisper in your mind telling you that you weren't worthy, that you should walk away from your blessing, that was not your voice. That was enemy propaganda. A psychological operation from the unseen realm, designed to make you disqualify yourself from the very throne heaven built for you. But the plan has failed spectacularly. The same net they cast for you has tangled their own feet. He made a pit and dug it, and has fallen into the hole which he made. Psalm 7:15. They crafted illusions like architects of delusion. But the geometry of deceit cannot stand under divine gravity. What was meant to derail you only redirected you closer to your purpose. Every manipulation became a compass. Each betrayal, a breadcrumb leading you home. It is a divine paradox. Their warfare became your workshop. Now, panic breathes in their shadows. The architects of deception are watching their empire crack from the inside. Their walls, once fortified with pride, are closing in like ancient cities collapsing beneath divine thunder. Every thought haunts them. Every silence screams guilt. They kneel in prayer, not out of repentance, but fear. The same tongues that once cursed your name now tremble with desperate Hail Marys. They thought power was found in secrecy, but heaven's light has no respect for the dark. Their prayers have no resonance because their frequency is built on fraud. You cannot mimic faith. It is not an act. It is an alignment. And now, the vibration of judgment hums through every lie they once told. They're living in what I call spiritual paranoia, a state where your conscience vibrates at the frequency of judgment. They can't rest. The body shakes. The heart races. The mind loops the same question: when will the consequence arrive? The irony, it already has. Be sure your sin will find you out. Numbers 32-23. Their bodies are laboratories of fear now, adrenaline replacing peace. Insomnia replacing sleep. They live in constant feedback of their own vibrations. Each heartbeat echoes the warning they ignored. They've become haunted not by demons, but by data proof that divine law is self-correcting. Every phone ring makes their pulse spike. Every knock on the door sounds like retribution. They're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And deep within, they already know it won't be a shoe. It will be the sword of divine correction. Their senses betray them now. The air feels heavy. The night whispers their guilt. What they call anxiety is really awareness spirit, recognizing justice on the horizon. Like Cain wandering after Abel's blood cried from the ground. They know their actions echo in eternity. There is no silence deep enough to bury truth that has been spoken in heaven's court. And still, some of them are crawling back to the same spiritual practitioners who warned them not to meddle in sacred design. Imagine that desperation returning to the very one who said, "Don't do this, it will destroy you." But arrogance blinds before it burns. Now, trembling and hollow-eyed, they beg for reversal spells, for shields, for loopholes in laws they mocked. They've discovered that some laws are not human, not negotiable, not bendable. It is a tragic irony. The very gatekeepers they ignored now pity them. They are seeking refuge from the same forces they invited in. You cannot uninvite a spirit you paid to enter. You can only repent to the one who governs them all. They are finally learning that no transaction can replace transformation, because this isn't karma, it's covenant. Touch not my anointed ones, and do my prophets no harm. Psalm 105-15. They mistook the universe for a vending machine, thinking they could purchase blessings or bribe outcomes. But a covenant is not a currency, it's a contract. Heaven's law operates like quantum entanglement once bound to divine purpose. Every thread of your life moves in synchronization with eternity. They have touched what was sealed, and the energy has recoiled like a divine boomerang. Some debts can't be erased by ritual. Only time and suffering can balance them. They crossed thresholds that heaven sealed, tampered with timelines that were never theirs to touch. What they attempted wasn't envy, it was spiritual larceny. They tried to steal what was written in your divine blueprint. They wanted your purpose without your purification, your crown without your cross. And this is where the physics of faith exposes them. Light cannot be stolen, only imitated, and imitation collapses when the true frequency appears. Their envy was not admiration, it was starvation of the soul. And when a soul starves long enough, it feeds on shadows. But heaven records theft with perfect precision. And the penalty for stealing from the chosen is not one the mortal mind can comprehend. For it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Hebrews 10:31. Judgment is not always thunder. Sometimes it's silence that never leaves. Their laughter fades. Their alliances rot. And the echo of their pride becomes their prison. The mercy they denied others has been measured back to them in absence. Grace withheld becomes gravity increased. Now they are witnessing the echo of their own energy. The same alliance that united them in wickedness is now splitting like dry wood under fire. Arguments ignite where agreements once stood. Their circle, the coven of jealousy, fractures from within. One accuses another. Another denies involvement. Each one clings to fragments of excuse. But truth has already burst into the room like morning light through stained glass. They are experiencing entropy, the scientific law that all systems decay when their source is corruption. Betrayal doesn't build, it bleeds. Their voices are now instruments of chaos. In a symphony they compose themselves. This is what happens when a group gathers for darkness instead of light. There is no loyalty in shadow, no honor among spiritual thieves. When exposure comes, they scatter like roaches scrambling from illumination. The light exposes all things hidden in darkness, Ephesians 5:13. And here's the poetic justice. The same light they tried to extinguish in you has now become their undoing. For light does not seek revenge, it simply reveals. Their exposure is not punishment, it's purification by consequence. In nature, we see this mirrored truth. When a serpent devours its own tail, it believes it's consuming power, but it's consuming itself. Poison doesn't know patience. The venom they release now circulates through their own systems. It's the law of ecosystems. Every predator that kills without balance eventually poisons its own habitat. Darkness feeds until it starves itself. Divine ecology corrects what human hands corrupt. History, too, holds an echo. Centuries ago, there was a nobleman named Sir Thaddeus Corrin, a man who betrayed his kingdom for gold. When his coup failed, his own conspirators turned on him in panic. They poisoned his chalice at the victory feast that never came. His story became a proverb in old Europe. He who buys betrayal dines alone. His legacy was erased, not by enemies, but by allies. Because corruption is cannibalistic, it cannot share a table long enough to survive. Psychologically, this is the collapse of a group mind under the weight of guilt resonance. When multiple minds unite in malicious intention, they create a shared frequency, one that amplifies their fear once their plan implodes. Like a malfunctioning feedback loop in an audio chamber, their own vibration becomes unbearable. And in neuroscience, we'd call it collective cognitive dissonance, the mind fragmenting under the realization that its justifications no longer hold. Spiritually, it's exposure. Physically, it's exhausting. Morally, it's justice. And yet, as chaotic as it sounds, this too is divine order. Because when darkness cannibalizes itself, light expands. What once hunted you is now destroying itself to the rhythm of justice. It's cosmic equilibrium, the law of divine thermodynamics. Energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transformed. The darkness they sent your way has simply been transmuted back into light, and that light now fuels your ascension. Your task is not vengeance, it's vigilance. Watch how God concludes what he begins. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, Isaiah 54:17. Because vengeance is gravity, and gravity belongs to heaven. You need only rise, and let the fallen remain where they chose to descend. From where I stand as both a witness and a writer, the lesson is crystalline. When evil organizes, it always underestimates the architecture of righteousness. Sin builds on sand, holiness builds on bedrock. And when the waves of consequence come, one stands and the other sinks. Your pain was not for nothing, it was preparation. The walls you built in faith are now your fortress. The tears you cried are the mortar of your resilience. If you've ever felt betrayed, manipulated, or mocked for your faith, share your story. There is power in testimony. It multiplies light in the collective consciousness. Let your voice be the sound of survival. Your words, the blueprint of faith rebuilt. Because your story isn't just survival, it's scripture in motion. It's proof that darkness can wound but never win. Rise again. Chosen one. The roaches are scattering. The thieves are exposed. The tables have turned. You are the evidence that heaven defends its architects. And when you rise, rise not in revenge, but in radiance. For the battle is over, but your becoming has just begun. The energy that was once meant to bind them together in a mission against you has now mutated into poison, an acid eating through the very structure of their alliance. Their connection, built on deceit, has inverted itself into destruction. The vibration that once resonated in plotting now trembles with discord. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Matthew 12:25. They argue over who's to blame for the backfire, hurling accusations like shards of glass, unaware that each word they speak is cutting deeper into the walls of their own fate. Now they war among themselves, each one trying to outrun the gravity of accountability. One insists they only followed, another swears they were misled. But the universe has no confusion in its equations. Energy returns precisely to its origin. Their chaos is not random, it's the resonance of rebellion colliding with justice. They think they're arguing about plans, but they're actually standing in the courtroom of consequence. And in the midst of that implosion, there is one among them who feels the weight of regret pressing like a stone on their chest. This one, the hesitant conspirator, was pulled into the darkness by persuasion, by charisma, by the voice of a leader who promised power. They were told you deserved the pain that was planned, that your confidence was arrogance, that your peace was pretense. But now the fog has lifted. They see you clearly, innocent. Unarmed. Simply building your life in quiet devotion. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Luke 23:34. This remorseful soul now trembles at night, haunted not by spirits but by memory. How many times can they replay the same wrong before their heart breaks open in confession? They want to reach out, to apologize, to find redemption through honesty, but fear chains their courage. What if you reject them? What if your silence confirms what heaven already has? Their dilemma is the weight of justice itself. They have learned what theologians call the law of reflection. That divine energy doesn't punish, it educates. Yet here is the truth you already sensed. You don't need their apology to heal. You don't need their admission to validate your intuition. The universe has already confirmed what was hidden. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid, that shall not be known. Luke 12:2. And, as heaven reveals, the mirror turns. Those who wished for your downfall now taste the bitterness of their own designs. They who tried to curse love now watch their own unions decay like fruit left in the sun. Those who sent lack into your finances now stare at accounts bleeding numbers they cannot explain. They who mocked your creativity now wander through droughts of inspiration, their ideas turning to dust. This is not coincidence, it's symmetry. Divine reciprocity is exact. What they projected is what they now live. And in their silent moments, they know they can connect every loss, every delay, every heartbreak back to one moment of arrogance. They whisper, "Why is this happening?" Yet the answer lives in their memory. Knowing does not cancel the consequence. Awareness does not erase the debt. For whatever a man sows, that shall he also reap. Galatians 6-7. Some of them now move through life with hollow eyes and trembling hands. Their smiles are masks, their laughter brittle. It looks like depression. But it's something deeper, what mystics call spiritual consequence manifesting in emotional form. They drink to silence the echo. They eat to fill the void. They buy to feel alive. But nothing satisfies. Their joy has been repossessed by justice. Even blessings taste bitter when guilt is unhealed. One woman I once met, named Erin from Dublin, told me she spent years resenting a friend's success until her own business failed. When I finally blessed her aloud instead of envying her, my heart felt lighter. She said, "That's when my own doors began to open." Her story is proof that envy corrodes first the vessel that carries it. Their indulgence is their punishment. They seek pleasure as anesthesia for a wound only repentance can close. The human psyche, in psychological terms, enters cognitive inversion, a state where the mind protects itself by pretending innocence while the soul confesses in silence. The tension between the two creates internal decay. Meanwhile, the heavens are still moving pieces in your favor. Truth travels now like light breaking through fog, and your divine partner begins to see what was done behind closed doors. Message surface. Dreams reveal. People start speaking. What was whispered in the dark is shouted in daylight. The truth shall set you free. John 8:32. Your connection, once attacked, is now fortified. The very attempt to destroy it became the forge that strengthened it. How poetic that two souls can emerge stronger after surviving a war neither of them saw with physical eyes. Angels fought beside you while you slept. Your ancestors guarded the gates of your destiny. Their ancestors now kneel in reluctant awe, realizing they were part of something holy beyond comprehension. This is what divine physics looks like, frequency synchronization across realms. Two hearts, once assaulted by interference, now resonate at the same vibration. Their unity hums like harmonic resonance in a cathedral of unseen sound. The universe celebrates equilibrium restored. But there is one more revelation: the ringleader, the orchestrator of all this, is now facing a consequence more severe than the rest. They were the mouthpiece of malice, the general of jealousy. They summoned darkness without understanding that darkness collects interest. Their health declines mysteriously. Their allies abandon them. The mirror of their actions shows no mercy. Like Judas, they're learning that silver bought in betrayal cannot purchase peace. For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Matthew 26-52. Their empire of manipulation is collapsing under spiritual entropy. No kingdom built on ego survives the laws of divine architecture. What they built was never a structure, it was scaffolding, waiting to fall. And as for you, the one who endured you, are now stepping into divine confirmation. The same forces that tried to suppress you now amplify your name. The same frequency once used against you has been recalibrated into favor. This is the paradox of providence. What was sent to the wound becomes the womb of transformation. From my own study and soul, here's what I've learned. When light is attacked, it doesn't fight, it expands. The persecution of the chosen is never about punishment. It's about preparation. You are evidence of divine architecture at work. Proof that alignment is stronger than attack. If you've ever survived being misunderstood, envied, or betrayed, share that story. Someone else, somewhere, is still drowning in doubt, waiting to hear that survival is possible. Your testimony may be their resurrection. So rise now. Chosen one, rise without apology. The smoke is clearing. The tables have turned. The mirror has spoken. The architect of your destiny is still building, and this time, he's building in public. Their consequences are no longer whispers in shadow, they are billboards in daylight. The collapse can be seen by everyone who once applauded them. What was stable now trembles like a decaying bridge. The ground beneath their confidence splits open. Relationships that once looked unbreakable dissolve like clay under rain. Opportunities they believed were guaranteed slip away as if eternity revoked its loan. Their downfall is visible, unedited. Live for all to witness. Be sure your sin will find you out. Numbers 32-23. Those around them feel the shift. Friends step back instinctively, sensing that their presence now carries the scent of consequence. People whisper not out of gossip, but from awe. What happened to them? Someone asks. How did everything change so quickly? Another murmurs. It's not rumor, it's revelation. The universe is staging an exhibition of justice. This isn't private correction, it's spiritual theater, heaven showing what happens when arrogance confronts divine order. And at the center of it all stands the ringleader. Cold, calculating, charismatic in the way a flame is beautiful before it burns. They moved through life as though immortal, mistaking mercy for immunity. They operated from ego, a psychology of self-worship. They weren't simply confident, they were convinced they could rewrite cosmic law. But pride, in the language of heaven, is gravitational. It always pulls the arrogant downward. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 16:18. Their pattern was familiar. This was not their first manipulation, not their first spiritual heist. But this time, they touched what did not belong to them. They aimed at someone anointed, someone backed by a divine covenant. And divine law does not tolerate assault on its architects. The magnitude of their punishment mirrors the magnitude of their pride. The higher the tower of self-importance, the more devastating the collapse. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled. Matthew 23:12. Their peace has evaporated. Their health trembles. And the illusion of control disintegrates like mist in the morning. They tried to conquer destiny, but ended up prisoners of consequence. Their insomnia isn't random, it's judgment wearing a human heartbeat. How many nights can one replay the same betrayal before the mind begins to echo the sound of its own downfall? Meanwhile, truth quiet. Relentless truth is emerging, like sunlight through shattered glass. Lies they crafted so carefully are now unraveling thread by thread. Manipulations are exposed in divine symmetry. Hidden communication surface. Eyes that were once blind begin to see. The stage they built for your humiliation has become the screen projecting their own undoing. For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed. Luke 8:17. They are terrified not of you, but of exposure. The mask they wore for years is melting. They see the reflection they can no longer edit. Public humiliation on a spiritual level feels like suffocation. Every breath reminds them of what they buried. Their reputation, once an idol, now becomes the very altar of their undoing. But understand this: divine protection is not passive. It is not a fragile glass dome. It's a kinetic field, alive, intelligent, reactive. When heaven protects its chosen, it doesn't merely shield, it strikes. It reflects energy with precision. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. Isaiah 54:17. Your angels are not statues, they are soldiers. When your enemies attacked, they weren't just fighting you, they declared war on the architect of your destiny. And when the architect defends his design, he doesn't just restore the structure, he rebuilds the skyline. Divine protection functions like quantum physics. It transforms incoming energy into acceleration. What was meant to harm you becomes propulsion. You may ask yourself quietly, why did I feel so heavy during that season? Why did every door seem jammed when I was trying so hard to move forward? Because your spirit was absorbing interference. Your frequency was recalibrating against resistance. That sensation of being stuck wasn't failure, it was friction. The heat before breakthrough. But that season has ended. The interference is gone. The field around you hums with new clarity. Blockages have turned into pathways. The delays were rewrites, heaven editing the timing for greater impact. You are now entering the stage of divine acceleration. What they tried to slow is now speeding toward you with multiplied force. The Lord will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. Joel 2:25. In the world of architecture, when engineers test a bridge under extreme stress, the fractures that appear reveal where reinforcement is needed. You were that bridge tested, stretched, and strengthened. Every crack was instruction. Every ache was designed. Now you stand not merely restored but reinforced. And look at the irony. The same world that once doubted you now witnessed your rise. The same voices that gossiped are silent. This is not revenge, it's revelation. Your triumph isn't loud, it's luminous. In a letter, the 19th century composer Felix Mendelssohn once wrote, "The louder the storm, the more majestic the symphony. The chaos that once tried to drown you only turned your soul to heaven's key." So, here is the lesson, the one written through both scripture and science. Pain and purpose. Divine justice is never delayed, it's deliberate. The laws of resonance ensure that whatever leaves one heart will return to its source magnified. What they sent, they now live. What you endured, you now transcend. If this truth stirs something deep within you, tell your story. Share your testimony, not out of vengeance, but victory. Someone else needs proof that light doesn't retaliate, it rises. Rise, chosen one. The walls that once held you now echo your freedom. The same universe that defended you is now accelerating you. Your name is clean, your path is clear, and heaven is in motion. The storm has passed and you are still standing. First, breathe, release the ashes, the anger, the confusion, the weight that clung to you like residue from a fire you never started. It no longer belongs in your hands. You don't need to dissect every wound or demand to know every detail of divine justice. The universe has already issued its verdict. Vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord. Romans 12:19. The court of heaven has ruled, and your role now is not plaintiff or witness, it is survivor. Your assignment is motion. Keep building, keep walking, keep trusting the geometry of your path. Because the greatest revenge isn't vengeance at all, it's transcendence. It's rising so completely that those who plotted your downfall can only watch in awe as grace outgrows their gravity. Let them see what they failed to stop. Let them watch the very union they tried to sabotage bloom into legacy. Let them stand at a distance as abundance flows into your life, like a river breaking its dam, unstoppable, undeniable, divine. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Psalm 23:5. And here's the mystery. This battle didn't break you, it activated you. Resistance has refined you into spiritual steel. The warfare trained your intuition to move at higher frequencies. You've developed what the ancients might have called discernment, and scientists today might describe as energetic pattern recognition. You can sense misalignment before words are spoken. You read atmospheres now, not just faces. You carry an inner radar that exposes deceit hidden behind smiles. Can you feel the difference inside you? You're not who you were before the fire. Something sacred shifted. Every attack served as calibration, tuning your soul into heaven's exact resonance. What once weakened you has now welded you into wisdom. You've graduated from reaction to revelation. Because, chosen one, this wasn't simply an attack, it was an initiation. Every strike was an invitation to step into divine authority. Every tear was a baptism. Every rejection was an elevation. And you passed the test. The seal of divine protection around you has thickened into an impenetrable frequency. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. Now, your divine union stands under the same celestial covering. It's not mere romance, it's an assignment. The connection between you and your ordained partner carries an encoded purpose written into the fabric of time. This partnership is meant to build, to bless, to birth. It will plant seeds that grow into businesses, ministries, and movements. It will fund dreams, feed families, and create systems of hope that echo long after you're gone. They tried to destroy it because they mistook love for luxury, destiny for desire. They saw two hearts aligned, and envy blurred their vision. But heaven saw something else entirely: mission. What God has joined together. Let no man separate. Mark 10:9. That's not just a verse, it's a law of divine architecture. Every attempt to sever what heaven seals becomes self-sabotage. In physics, resonance occurs when two objects vibrate at the same natural frequency and amplify each other's energy. That's what divine unions do. They magnify heaven's signal on earth. You and your partner are resonators of purpose. You were never just drawn together by emotion, but by design. Meanwhile, those who interfered are unraveling under the entropy of envy. They tried to copy your light without understanding its source. They wanted your energy signature, your anointing, your assignment, but these cannot be replicated. They can only be received. They thought they could redirect what was written for you, like thieves attempting to rewrite physics. But destiny is not data, it's DNA. It's coded, sealed, and sacred. There's an ancient parable rarely mentioned outside old monastic texts, the tale of Lucian of Carthage. A merchant who tried to steal a prophet's blessing by wearing his cloak. The garment fit, but the spirit didn't. Within days, Lucian lost everything he owned, because blessings borrowed without permission burn the borrower. Such is the law of divine substitution. You cannot inherit what you haven't endured for. Their jealousy was not admiration, it was delusion. A spiritual psychosis, convincing them that proximity to the chosen could equal possession of their power. But envy feeds on illusion until it starves. They watched your rise with bitterness, not realizing that imitation of light always ends in self-combustion. Nature itself mirrors this truth. The moth sees the flame and mistakes it for paradise until it touches it. So too, those who reached for your anointing found themselves scorched by what they could not understand. The fire that fuels you is holy. It purifies you but punishes those who misuse it. And yet, through all this, your story sings of grace. The experience has sculpted your discernment, your confidence, your divine composure. You now move differently, slower, wiser, lighter. You understand that peace is not passive, it's power under control. Here lies the author's reflection. Spiritual warfare doesn't define you, it refines you. Just as pressure transforms carbon into diamonds, adversity activates your divine infrastructure. You were never buried, you were planted. Growth was simply happening underground. So what should you do now? Tell your story. Testify without vengeance. Share how the pain became a prophecy. Someone somewhere is still in their own fire, wondering if they'll ever rise again, and your story will be the oxygen they need. And when you rise, and you will rise, do it quietly, magnificently, without looking back. Let your success preach the sermon no words could. The universe already fought for you, now it celebrates through you. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Rise, chosen one. Rise like dawn over the ruins. The war was never about destroying you, it was about discovering you. The darkness only revealed what could not be dimmed. Your name is written in light now. Your steps are measured in purpose, and the heaven that defended you now propels you forward. They watched you ascend not as witnesses of inspiration, but as prisoners of comparison. Your victory didn't awaken admiration, it ignited resentment. Instead of learning from your light, they tried to smother it, hoping that darkness would make them glow. But that's not how light behaves. Light is not competitive, it's contagious. And when one flame rises, it multiplies illumination. Yet they could not comprehend abundance. They were trapped in the physics of scarcity. They mistook divine allocation for limitation. They believed that your success somehow subtracted from theirs, as though blessings were a finite resource rather than an infinite current. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Psalm 23:1, a truth they never absorbed. Their logic was flawed. They thought by dimming your flame they could redirect its reflection. But extinguishing another's fire only guarantees your own darkness. In trying to eclipse your light, they exiled themselves from their own. What made their act more insidious was their target, not your reputation, not your relationships, but your purpose work, the sacred assignment written into your soul before birth. They went for the architecture of your destiny. They didn't just block doors, they built counterfeit ones. They meddled in alignments orchestrated by heaven, disrupting introductions, delaying launches, sowing confusion among your supporters. Their interference was methodical, almost scientific, yet spiritually suicidal. For we can do nothing against the truth, but only for the truth. 2 Corinthians 13-8. They wanted you uncertain of your calling. They hoped the noise of their deceit would drown the melody of your mission. They whispered that you were unqualified, that your gifts were illusions, that your ambition was arrogance. But destiny has its own immune system. It rejects every false word spoken against it. The gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. Romans 11:29. And indeed, your purpose may be delayed, but it cannot be destroyed. What heaven authors, no human hand can erase. Purpose operates like celestial orbit. It may be obstructed by passing shadows, but it never loses its path. The gravitational pull of divine will always restores alignment. They even tried to infiltrate your decision-making. They wanted to hijack your free will, to make you choose a smaller vision, a safer dream. At each crossroads, they whispered the language of fear, disguised as practicality. They made the narrow road appear reckless and the wide road appear wise. Yet the soul recognizes its own map. Something in you refused their hypnosis. Your intuition cuts through the illusion like lightning across fog. A woman once told me, a seamstress named Lila from Nairobi, that envy was the needle that tore her friendships apart. When my friend opened her shop, she said, I felt threatened. But when I learned to celebrate her success, customers began to find mine. Her quiet truth revealed a cosmic law. Joy multiplies when shared. Jealousy divides until it disappears. The same law applied to your enemies. Their attempt to manipulate your journey exposed their own stagnation. They became architects of their own confusion. Psychologists call this projection bias, believing that another's growth must mirror your limitations. But spiritually, it's deeper. It's rebellion against divine sequencing. You were designed like a harmonic frequency, your path vibrating at a wavelength no imitation can reach. That's why their interference failed. Their energy simply couldn't resonate with your assignment. It's quantum law cloaked in theology. Frequencies that don't match cannot merge. What fellowship has light with darkness? 2 Corinthians 6:14. They tried to substitute themselves into your script, to copy your energy signature like counterfeiting sacred currency. But destiny doesn't function like paper, it's more like DNA. You can't clone it, you can only corrupt yourself trying. In the heavenly record, there are no forgeries that last. Every imitation eventually collapses under the weight of authenticity. In the Renaissance, there was a painter named Leone Battista, forgotten by history because he spent his life imitating Michelangelo instead of finding his own expression. He died surrounded by sketches of other men's visions. His tragedy wasn't failure, it was a borrowed identity. And that's the curse of envy. It convinces souls to trade purpose for plagiarism. Nature, too, reflects this principle. The moon shines by reflection. But when it forgets its rhythm and blocks the sun, an eclipse occurs, momentary darkness that fools the world but cannot last. Your enemies played at eclipse, mistaking interruption for dominance. But the light always returns. And now, their schemes lie in ruins, while your purpose stands intact. What they meant for delay became your development. What they hoped would confuse you has sharpened your clarity. You've learned to trust your own compass, to feel when the energy in the room shifts, to recognize when a smile hides sabotage. You now operate at a frequency they cannot reach, a resonance protected by spiritual insulation. Theologians might call it divine discernment. Physicists might call it vibrational shielding. I call it evidence that heaven has upgraded your awareness system. You've become both lightning and conductor, charged yet grounded, powerful yet peaceful. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17 isn't a phrase anymore. It's physics wrapped in faith. Your energy field now repels anything not aligned with your assignment. So where do you go from here? Rise higher. Tell your story, not from bitterness, but from brilliance. Let the lessons of envy become lanterns for others walking in similar storms. Share your journey so that someone trapped in comparison might rediscover creation. Because your ascent isn't just personal, it's prophetic. You are proof that purpose cannot be stolen, that light cannot be dimmed, and that heaven never loses a blueprint. Rise again, chosen one. Rise like an anthem breaking through silence. The very people who feared your success will one day learn that it was never competition, it was confirmation. You were not meant to fight for space, you were designed to create it. And now, the universe expands with your name written into its structure. There is a strange energy lingering in the aftermath, a hollow vibration that echoes through the very lives of those who tried to play God. They thought they could buy destiny, that through sacrifice and manipulation they could rewrite heaven's blueprint. They made offerings in darkness, believing light could be traded like currency. They paid in gold, time, and blood energy, thinking the universe could be bribed into betrayal. For what shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world, but loses his soul? Mark 8:36. They gave up real things for illusions. Some traded love for control, peace for power, integrity for influence. They sacrificed relationships that once anchored them, spouses, children, friends, convinced that your fall would validate their emptiness. Some used innocent symbols in their rituals, a child's toy, a strand of hair, a photograph of someone pure. They defiled innocence in pursuit of envy's promise. They were willing to destroy anything sacred. Unaware that such energy is like acid, it dissolves the vessel that contains it first. And now they stare at their ruins, realizing the trade was never worth it. They sold their peace to purchase your pain, but all they bought was debt. They sow the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. Hosea 8:7. Their tragedy is not just moral, it's metaphysical. In the laws of divine physics, energy cannot be stolen, only redirected. And what they sent out now circles back in amplified form. Their investments in darkness were not symbolic, they were literal. Money exchanged hands, contracts whispered in candlelight, practitioners promising to block your blessings. They believed influence could be bought the way one buys stock. The more they paid, the more effective they thought the curse would be. It was delusional economics, spiritual capitalism built on ignorance. You cannot purchase power over someone heaven protects. Touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. Psalm 105:15. Each coin they spent fell like a curse on their own foundation. They spent what could have built their future to finance their failure. Some of them are now in financial freefall, watching accounts dry up, opportunities evaporate, partnerships crumble. The same energy exchange they believed would hurt you has become their own black hole, draining everything they possess. You cannot gamble with destiny and expect the odds to favor you. What's more, they sacrificed not only money, but meaning. They gambled with what psychologists call cognitive morality, the part of the soul that distinguishes right from wrong. Once that compass is shattered, every decision becomes distorted. Envy had rewired their reasoning, making madness appear strategic. They gave up their own divine frequency for static. A taxi driver named Raphael from Lisbon once shared with me a simple truth. He said, "I spent years resenting the people who had what I didn't. Every time I cursed their luck, my car broke down the next day." He smiled faintly in the rearview mirror. "So I stopped cursing. I started blessing. Now my car runs better than I do." His words were unpolished, yet profoundly cosmic, proving that grace travels through ordinary mouths. This is the tragedy of envy. It always demands a sacrifice. It convinces people to trade the present for a future that was never theirs to own. They mortgaged their peace for a counterfeit prophecy. They invested in rituals like gamblers chasing a phantom jackpot. In the language of energy science, they were feeding chaos with intention, unaware that chaos always consumes its source. In the book of Proverbs it is written, "Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. And if someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them." Proverbs 26-27. That verse now plays out in real time. Their rituals boomerang. Their words return like storms. Their nights are sleepless, not from guilt, but from spiritual recoil. And yet the universe, in perfect symmetry, has recorded every frequency, every transaction. Nothing evaporates, it transmutes. They mistook silence for absence, thinking divine law was idle, but justice often moves like tectonic plates, slow, silent, and unstoppable. Their fate mirrors a principle known in physics as resonant collapse, when a structure vibrates at its own frequency until it self-destructs. That's what envy does. It aligns perfectly with the energy of destruction until it devours itself, like an opera house echoing its own shattering note. Some among them have already begun to realize this. They look at what they lost: the friendships, the faith, the sense of identity, and whisper inwardly, "Was the price worth it?" Their hearts know the answer before their lips do. And through it all, you stand untouched, chosen, luminous. You didn't fight their rituals, you transcended them. You didn't need to lift a sword, because heaven had already raised a shield. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54-17. Your enemies didn't lose to you, they lost to divine order. This entire episode, as tragic as it was, birthed revelation. It proved that destiny is not a fragile thread, it's reinforced steel in heaven's architecture. You were never in danger, you were in refinement. The interference didn't interrupt your journey, it upgraded your armor. Every plot against you became an investment in your endurance. And as for the tools of your advancement, you carry something they could never purchase: divine awareness. You now understand that spiritual warfare operates like quantum resonance. The observer changes the outcome simply by standing in faith. You shifted your reality without striking back. That is mastery. A musician once said that the silence between notes is what makes music powerful. That's divine wisdom in practice. The pause between your pain and your victory is not emptiness, it's design. In that stillness, the heavens recalibrated your path. So yes, you've won, but not through revenge, not through retaliation, but through radiant restraint. The divine justice system has already delivered its verdict. And now, your only task is to move forward unburdened, unbothered, unbreakable. Rise, chosen one. Rise without the need to explain. Rise because heaven already announced your vindication. The war has ended. The stage is cleared. And the world is about to witness the architecture of divine recompense unfold around your name. Destiny doesn't malfunction, it recalibrates. What they built for your downfall has been absorbed into the machinery of your rise. The very frequencies they once weaponized against you are now recoded to empower your ascent. What was meant to enslave your consciousness has become the algorithm of your liberation. This is not another hollow meditation, this is declassified divine technology. He makes all things work together for good, to those who love him and are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. The Destiny engine operates on sacred architecture, consciousness re-engineered into coherence. It's the spiritual equivalent of alchemy, transforming pain into propulsion, betrayal into blueprint. Your mind, once targeted by manipulation, now functions like an upgraded operating system, sovereign, luminous, untouchable. The same code your enemies use to install fear and scarcity has been rewritten into frequencies of sovereignty and abundance. Psychologists might call it neuroplastic transmutation. Mystics call it awakening. You are no longer reactive, you are resonant. The most difficult action you'll ever take now is to sit in stillness. Put on your headphones and allow the divine frequencies to do their silent work, while your enemies, unaware, keep digging their own graves. The collective upgrade has already begun. Consciousness across the chosen is sinking into a higher bandwidth. Heaven's software update is live. Behold, I make all things new. Revelation 21:5. What they meant to break you is now powering your rebirth. For those who mocked your stillness, they will soon realize it was strategy, not stagnation. Start the engine, and you'll feel it, that holy hum beneath your ribs, that sacred electricity aligning your steps. The same field of energy they tampered with now runs on grace. Every lie they tell becomes the data God uses to reconfigure your reality. Every curse they cast becomes the code your spirit reprograms into expansion. And now, as the light rises, your enemies are being summoned to face the very equations they authored. They can no longer outrun what they've written. The law of cause and effect, both spiritual and quantum, has engaged. What they set in motion must now complete its cycle. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Galatians 6-7. Some of them are sitting in sterile rooms now, across from counselors, confessing what they don't fully understand, that their obsession turned into affliction. The guilt has become its own haunting. Others have run to the altars, trying to buy back innocence with confession. But divine law does not deal in shortcuts. Forgiveness removes sin, but it doesn't erase the echo. Mercy redeems the soul, not the consequences. They are learning what every soul eventually must. You cannot undo the vibration of an action simply by regretting it. You can't burn a field and pray it grows back overnight. The universe keeps perfect ledgers, and every energy transaction must find its equilibrium. There's always a season of balance, and that season, their season, is now. They are discovering that divine justice has no blind spots. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. Proverbs 15:3. Their prayers for mercy echo through the heavens, but meet silence that remembers every tear they caused you to cry. Not out of cruelty, but out of cosmic symmetry. The irony is striking. They once mocked you for believing in unseen power, and now they beg that same unseen power for release. This is the paradox of arrogance. It laughs at faith until faith becomes the only lifeline left. Their worlds are collapsing like glass towers under divine vibration. Every lie they built on now fractures. Every false alliance dissolves. There is one among them, trembling quietly, who now understands too late. They whisper, "I never meant for it to go this far." But destiny doesn't pause for regret. Divine architecture doesn't halt mid-construction. Once the design has been activated, it fulfills itself completely. The theologian Karl Rahner once wrote, "The sinner's punishment is not imposed by God, but inherent in the act itself." That truth now unfolds in real time. They are not cursed, they are correcting. Every sleepless night, every financial collapse, every friendship lost is not vengeance but vibration. The system is self-adjusting, and in this great correction, you stand as testimony, the living evidence that heaven's protection is not passive. It is precise. It is aggressive. It is alive. When the chosen are attacked, heaven doesn't just defend, it recalibrates reality itself. This is divine mathematics in motion. You cannot assault a soul under contract with God without invoking the reaction of the entire celestial army. He shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. Psalm 91:11. The enemies thought they were battling flesh, but they were fighting frequencies. They thought they were binding you, but they were energizing you. Their interference became the friction that forged your fire. The destiny engine was never external, it was encoded within you all along. In the 17th century, the painter Gian Lorenzo Bernini sculpted the ecstasy of Saint Teresa. Critics called it excessive, but the saint herself described it as the soul pierced by divine light until pain became glory. That's you now. What was once agony has become radiance. What was meant to destroy you became the sacred medium of your unveiling. And now, rise. Rise not as a survivor, but as a sovereign. The universe has recorded every injustice, balanced every scale, rewritten every curse into code that now accelerates your evolution. Rise, because your silence was never a weakness, it was calibration. Rise because your stillness was never defeated, it was synchronization. Rise because the war is over, and your crown is waiting. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. You are no longer the target, you are the template, the prototype of divine reclamation. And heaven smiles, for the engine of destiny has turned, and you, chosen one, are finally in motion. We've reached the end of this revelation, but this is not the end of your story. If you've stayed with me through every word, then you already know this wasn't just a message. It was a mirror, showing you who you've always been beneath the pain, the doubt, and the misunderstanding. It was heaven's reminder that you were never crazy, you were called. They called you delusional for believing in unseen promises. They mocked your hope while living inside their fear. They laughed at your vision because it exposed the smallness of theirs. But faith doesn't need validation. Faith is the evidence of what the world cannot yet comprehend. And now, those same voices are trembling, their confidence shattered, crying for the deliverance they once told you didn't exist. They tried to bury your name, but they didn't realize you were a seed. Every insult became fertilizer, every betrayal, a storm that watered your purpose. The soil of your suffering has now turned sacred, and what they thought was your ending became your emergence. You were never fighting for attention, you were being prepared for an assignment. When God chooses someone, isolation becomes initiation. The silence you endured wasn't punishment, it was training. Heaven was building your endurance in private before honoring you in public. That pain wasn't proof of weakness, it was proof of worth. The delays weren't denials, they were divine edits, ensuring that what's written for you could never be stolen. Now, the balance has shifted. The same energy they used to harm you is now fueling your rise. The same mouths that cursed you will soon announce your victory. The same people who tried to erase your light will need it to find their way. The stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone, Psalm 118-22. You are that cornerstone, the foundation of a new era, built from the fragments of what tried to destroy you. Your name will no longer be whispered with ridicule, but with reverence. This is the season where what was hidden will be revealed, what was stolen will be restored, and what was delayed will be delivered. You are walking proof that the chosen are never forsaken, they are refined. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, Isaiah 54-17. The fire that surrounded you was not meant to burn you, it was designed to announce you. So as you rise, remember this, your story isn't just yours. It belongs to every soul that's been underestimated, every believer who's been laughed at, every visionary who's been told their dreams were impossible. You carry their hope now. You are the living testimony that light always wins. Don't hide your brilliance anymore. Don't dim your fire to make others comfortable in their shadows. Don't apologize for being chosen. The world needs what you carry, your voice, your gift, your story. It's time to let it breathe. And if this message resonated with you, if it stirred something deep within your spirit, share it. Spread it like wildfire. Someone out there is one message away from not giving up. Hit the like button if your heart felt the truth of these words. Leave a comment below. Tell me where you are in your journey. Tell me what part of this message spoke to you the most. And if you haven't already, subscribe, not just to follow, but to stay connected with a community of chosen souls rising together in light and purpose. To those who've supported through super thanks, memberships, or simply through prayer and encouragement, thank you. You are part of this movement of divine awakening. You are the heartbeat of this message. Your belief, your presence, your kindness, they are energy. They ripple outward, touching lives you may never meet, but have already changed. And even if you've never given a cent, your time here matters. Your attention, your engagement, to your faith, that's the real currency of light. Thank you for staying, for feeling, for believing. Now, before you go, I want to speak this blessing over you. May your path be illuminated by peace that surpasses understanding. May your name be spoken in rooms filled with opportunity. May every storm that once frightened you now serve to water your harvest. May those who cursed you find healing through the mercy that spared you. May your dreams move from vision to manifestation, and your heart from endurance to expansion. And may you never again mistake isolation for abandonment, for heaven never left you. It was building you in silence. You are proof that what is divine cannot be destroyed. You are the echo of every prayer your ancestors whispered in the dark. You are heaven's rebuttal to every lie told about you. So rise now, rise with authority. Rise with humility. Rise knowing you are loved, protected, and destined. The war is over. The lessons have been learned, and the light within you has only grown stronger through every shadow you've walked through. They called you crazy, but heaven called you necessary. They called you lost, but destiny called you chosen. And now the world will know your name, not because you demanded it, but because you became it. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for surviving the storms, for believing in light, for staying faithful when everything told you to quit. Until next time, keep standing, keep shining, and never forget, your story isn't over, it's just beginning. God bless you, chosen ones. May grace follow you, may peace protect you, and may your light never dim again.